Well, today we're going to be making a bottle opener and get it from bottle opener kit from PSI online. You can get all different kinds of pen kits and bottle openers, letter openers, salt and pepper shakers, grinders, all kinds of kits. So this one's pretty simple. Just has one tube, a couple small bushings, 7mm drill bit to put the tube in. And I've chosen some lignum vitae wood, super hard wood. Has kind of a nice green color. I don't think it's really showing up here, but the grain's good. Very, very hard. One of the hardest woods in the world. And to make it a little more interesting, I'm going to put a couple of strips of maple, at least little thin maple, and I'm going to glue them on there with super glue, cyanoacrylate, and then we'll put them in the lathe and turn it down to a bottle opener. Put that brass tube in the center, and I'm going to, one thing that doesn't come with the kit, I think they should, is I'll put a rare earth magnet in there also. I got a bunch of those in the middle, so you can stick it to the refrigerator or any metal surface that hold it up. And this is, we'll put the super glue on there, and then we use this activator that instantly cures it. And it makes a process you don't have to wait for it to dry. I was thinking about putting this Purple Heart in there, but I might change my mind. We'll see as I go. We'll get this maple. It's nice white maple, makes good contrast. It also is easy to turn. Maple is turns real nice. So we'll see how it goes. Well, this is what I ended up with. I ended up using that piece of Purple Heart at the top. We'll put this up in the lathe and see how it comes out. I'll grab these two bushings. One that tells us what diameter that we're going to turn this blank down to. Come over to the lathe here. One-handed, put this bushing on. Put the blank on. Put the other bushing on. Slide this up. Oh, got some spacers. Take up that slack. It's too long. Oh, shorter spacer. Test the threads. Maybe one more. Copper washer. Lock nut. Snug that down. Boy, there we go. Run this up, right about there, lock it down. Back this up, come up so it just touches. Put too much force on it, it'll bow that rod, and then you'll end up turning it kind of crooked. This one's a short one, so we'll just need the short tool rest. This one here, that's about the right length for that. Pop that in there. We'll move it up pretty close, right about there. Get that squared up. Tighten that down. Now we'll turn the speed down low as it goes. Turn her on, make sure nothing comes flying off. Then we can speed it up. There we go. Now we'll go ahead and turn that down. My age, I need a magnifier and a extra light. Can't have too much light for me. There we go. And I'll turn this down. We'll see what it looks like in a minute or two here. We'll rough cut it first and then do the fine shaping at the end. Well, here we are. We got it glued together. Got the inserts put in there. But we're going to have to square the ends to make them square to the hole. So they got this kit. Complete pen mail kit. And you find the appropriate pin with the right diameter. I found this is the one that goes in there, and you put it in there, and then you put it in your drill press. You come down and drill the, yeah, I can't do it with one hand. Maybe not. There you go. So it goes in there like that. Put it in the drill press, and then this edge here will make the top flat exactly 90 degrees to the inside brass tube that's in there. It'll clean off any, like this got a little super glue from when I glued the brass tube in. Got to get that off. So when you put your metal components for your bottle opener, your pen or whatever, that it's square to the metal parts you're putting on. Anyhow, we'll do that real quick and then we'll put it on the lathe and turn it down to the correct size. What we do is we turn that down in the drill press till we can just see the brass sleeve on the inside just starting to show. And then we know it's square, and your metal components will press into that brass tube and be held. It's not glued in or anything, it's a press fit. So the brass is soft. Usually the components are chrome, some kind of steel, so they're pressed right in there, and they will not come out very easily. Well, we got her turned down to the right size, and on this one I actually went a little lower than the bushing because I'm going to put about 10 or 12 coats of cyanoacrylate, aka super glue, on the outside of it to bring out the color and give it more gloss. And so I want to accommodate that, so the thickness of the super glue won't be higher than the bushings. So I'll sand this first. It's pretty smooth. I probably could just put the super glue on it, but I'll probably sand it with some 600 and then maybe with some pads up to 12,000 grit. We'll see how it looks then. If I like the way it looks, then I won't put the super glue on, but I'll give that about 10-15 minutes to get those. Use these little pads. They go up to 12,000. They start at about 1,500. Oops. There's a little chart tells you the order to go in. I've done it a million times. I got to memorize now, but that little chart just in case. Well, here we are with the polished product. There's no cyanoacrylate on there, but I am going to put it on there. I got to drill a hole in the side for the magnet, but before I do that, I'm going to use a little, wipe it down with some lacquer thinner. It helps remove the oils off the surface of that wood. Some woods, mahogany and this lignum wood, is very oily, and over time, as the oil comes to the surface, it can peel or bubble the cyanoacrylate that you put on as a coating. So that lacquer thinner, and of course aging the wood, also helps to get rid of that oil. Anyhow, let's I think I'll put the magnet right here at the V. So I'm gonna sand a little flat on there, and then drill a recess area and put a rare earth magnet. I got the magnets. I buy them. I keep them on the side of this cabinet. See the different sizes for different size objects I'm building. This one's not too big, so we'll probably go with the maybe one of these. Get that sucker off there. So I'll measure. Oh, those are pretty strong. There we go. Not that thick. So that's two of them on there. So we'll have to. I'll measure that. There we go. It's not too big, not too thick, so I don't have to drill too deep. I'll measure that set of calipers, find the appropriate drill size, and then put that in that so it'll stick on the metal. Bottle opener would be handy, maybe on a bar top or something, refrigerator. And then I'll coat the whole thing with 10 or 12 coats of super glue, and then that'll be permanently attached. So you can see that some of the color actually came, the green, when I put the lacquer thinner and wiped it down, came off on there, on the paper towel. So it's a good thing, because that oil definitely peel up that cyanoacrylate. So it looks like that magnet's right at 1/4 inch, So a 1/4-inch drill, we ought to be able to sink that in there, and that'll fit in there just fine. I'm going to use this little Ryobi sander to put a little flat right there, so that it can sit on there a little better. And we'll drill a little hole in there. I forgot, I got to measure the depth of that magnet so we don't drill it too deep. It's a brass tube in there, so hopefully there's enough where it's not sticking up too high, because I'd like it to be kind of flush to the surface and not really stick up. Well, it's not perfectly flush, but it's pretty close. We'll go ahead and wipe everything down. You got to make sure that, you can see there's a little dust there. Before you start putting the coats of super glue on, you got to get it really clean. You don't want that dirt sticking in your coating. Leave a rough finish. So anyhow, we'll show you how to put the cyanoacrylate on in just a minute here. So I take a paper towel like this, and then I'll cut it up into strips about this long. You see the strips are cut here. And then we'll put the super glue on the edge, put some gloves on, and then we'll turn the lathe real slow and wipe the super glue on there. And then in between coats, spray it with your activator to set it, and do that, repeat about 10 or 12 coats. Gives a good thick protective coating. So that's about how much glue you put on there. Just a little narrow strip, and you apply that, rub it back and forth. Then we'll spray the activator. Just a couple of quick puffs like that, and then it's perfect. It's perfectly dry. If you were to touch it, it's not sticky at all. So then you repeat that. Get another piece, or this one, I'll probably just flip it around this side, turn it over, flip it around the other side, and keep applying the coats until I get 10 or 12. And then after that, we'll polish it back with those same polishing pads to get rid of the little lines in there and to make it real glossy and smooth. So there we go. We got about a dozen coats on there. You can see it's pretty flush in. So now we're going to use those pads again, and we're going to sand that back. Do is get a bowl of water, and I'll wet sand it. You may be wondering what that potato salad bowl was doing behind the lathe. Well, it hangs a towel on there as a backstop, so when some of the water and the material flings off, doesn't end up all over the bins behind it. The same thing, and I want to drip on the lathe and have it get rusty. So you just take the sanding pad, well, dip it in the water here, turn the lathe on at a low speed, and then we'll come up behind here and we'll sand this back, and we'll polish that super glue until it's a real nice finish on it. So you can see this is a project anybody can do. It's not super technical or difficult. I don't have any great woodworking skills. This is just a Harbor Freight lathe, inexpensive. This is some, you don't need big chunks of wood, or this was made from scrap pieces from some vehicles that I was making little toys, and just saved those scraps and throw them in a drawer, and then glom them together with glue, and make it something that could be useful as a little gift or to use for yourself. Like, I suppose you could sell them too, but mostly I end up giving this stuff away to the people that my friends and family that might need something like that. So we will just polish that down, and when I get done, we'll show you how nice and shiny it turns out. And we'll show the assembly of the two ends after we get it off the lathe. Well, here it is, polished to just 4,000. You can see the gloss on it already. That cyanoacrylate really shines up, and that magnet's well sealed in there. Not going to fall out, that's for sure. So I'll continue polishing it up from the 4,000 up to 12,000, and it'll look just like glass coating over it, which will help protect the wood. The reason we wet sand it is because we can clean the pads in the bowl, get some of the grit out, and you can turn the lathe faster. You don't have to worry about this friction as much if you're got water on there to help lubricate it. So we'll show it again at 12,000. It's not going to be too much different, but it will be slightly shinier. Well, there you go. It's all polished up. You can see the bushings are still stuck on there, but we'll just snap them off and then sand those ends down a little bit to break them free. Yeah, I might have to use two hands for that. Yeah. So the bushings are off, and we'll just rub those ends to make sure they're flush. It's got a little bit of sharp edge there to before we press in the metal fittings. That way I have a nice good fit. Well, now we're ready to press the bushings in each end. So this is one way you can do it. Use this little vise. I replaced the jaws with wood ones. It doesn't have as much danger of damaging it. You just screw it together, and it'll press that metal piece into the end here. And then we'll put this one in the other end, and then we'll screw in this part screws in through one of those bushings is threaded. So we'll do that next. So there we have it. It's all done. Magnet on that side. So it'll just stick to the refrigerator or whatever like this. Hopefully, I picked the right size magnet. I guess we can go outside the shop here and get a beer fridge. We'll see. Where's that magnet? Come on. And there you have it. Oh yeah, that magnet's not falling off. Yep, fixed on there. Heavy side wants to hang down, but I guess it'll stand up. Yeah. Anyhow, hopefully this video will inspire somebody. You know, even young people could do this. You know, probably a 11, 12, 13-year-old supervision could do this. So it's not expensive. Doesn't take some crazy skills or anything like that to make some, you know, something fun. It's got a nice polish. It's well protected. It lasts years. I hope this inspires somebody to give it a try. Thank you for watching.